So now our brother minister Gibran Rashad is coming up, who was taught and trained by Minister John Muhammad, who was trained personally by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum. Would everyone please rise in the direction that you're facing? Hands outstretched in the form of a cup, feet at a 45. Follow me silently in the Muslim opening prayer. Surely I've turned myself to thee, O Allah, trying to be upright to he who originated the heavens and the earth, and I am not of the polytheists. Surely my prayer, my sacrifice, my life, and my death is all for Allah, the Lord of the worlds. No associate has he, and this am I commanded, and I am of those who submit. O Allah, there is no God but thee. Thou art my Lord, and I am thy servant. I have been greatly unjust to myself, and I confess my faults to thee. So grant me the protection against all my faults, for none grants the protection against faults but thee. And guide me into the best of morals, for none guides to the best of morals but thee. O Allah, make the Honorable Elijah Muhammad successful, and make we the true followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad successful, as thou doest make Abraham and the true followers of Abraham successful. For surely thou art praised and magnified in our midst. O Allah, bless the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and bless we the true followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, as thou doest blessed Abraham and the true followers of Abraham. For surely thou art praised and magnified in our midst. And I bear witness that nothing or no one deserves to be served besides Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. All praise is due forever. And I bear witness that his last and greatest messenger is the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. You may be seated. In the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful, I bear witness there is no God but Allah, who appeared in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And in the name of his last and most surely his greatest messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, I greet you, my brothers and sisters, with the nation greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Muhammad's temple. How's everyone today?
Fine, sir.
All praise is due to Allah. So now our brother minister Gibran Rashad is coming up, who was taught and trained by Minister John Muhammad, who was trained personally by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Yes,
He's going to take you further into the life-giving teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, sir.
In the name of Almighty God Allah, who came in the person of one, Master Farad Muhammad, to whom all praise is due forever. We're forever thankful for Allah coming to the hills of North America and raising up our beloved leader, teacher, and our guide, the most humble and honorable Elijah Muhammad. I greet the brothers and the sisters with the nation's greetings of peace, paradise, and contentment of Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, sir.
I'm not going to lie to you. I've been thinking about Saviour's Day for a long time.
Yes, sir.
And wishing that it would go further and further away, because this is the first Saviour's Day. And let me correct something. Today isn't Saviour's Day. It's a day that we are acknowledging Saviour's Day, which is on the 26th of this month.
Yes, sir.
And that is Thursday. But it's the first one that I am actually doing almost solo. If it wasn't for the brothers of the FOI and the sisters of the MGT, I don't know what I would do. I don't think my legs would be able to hold me up here.
That's right.
So right now, I'm calling on Elijah's guide
Yes, sir.
to help me and strengthen my legs, because you guys look beautiful. You sisters look gorgeous. And I just want to do the best for you, because you deserve the best. I want to do, not saying greater than the messenger, because there is none greater than the messenger but Allah. But I want to deliver a teachings to you that you can see why me, myself, and the brothers and sisters of the Nation of Islam love these teachings so much. I want to deliver them to you in a fashion that you can say, I understand. I don't want you to leave here confused. I don't want you to leave here thinking that something wasn't right. I want you to leave here knowing that everything that was said today is right.
That's right.
Because everything prior to today was wrong. But we never understood why it was wrong. But it's a way that these teachings have to be delivered so that those that do not know will know. And those that already know understand better than what they did before. See, we are a people that is described in the Bible, Genesis chapter 15, 13, 14. We are a people that was in bondage to a stranger for 400 years. And we was afflicted while in bondage for 400 years. The affliction that we were receiving today is not the same affliction that we were receiving yesterday, meaning during the time of a physical slavery, but during a time of a mental slavery. Our people have been treated unlike any other people on the earth. Most want to give their sorrows and their woes to the Jewish people and the Holocaust. But what about the Black Holocaust? What about your Holocaust? The one that stripped you of your language, your culture, and your God. See, when we look at their Holocaust, it was done by their brother. Their brother, Hitler, was an Austrian Jew. He just didn't like himself, and he didn't like anyone like him. He thought that the Germans was a better race of people. But our enemy was not of us. Our enemy lied to us, told us, and guided us to a wrong path. A path that was doomed for destruction. And when you look at the black man and the black woman today, we are the worst people on the face of the earth when it comes for love for self. It doesn't take nothing but a branded gym shoe for us to gun each other down in the street. And we don't understand why. It doesn't take much but a name brand jacket to gun each other down in the street.
That's right.
And we still don't understand why. But let me explain to you why. See, we are a sheep that was raised by wolves.
That's right.
And what do I mean by that? Meaning that when you are a sheep and you're raised by wolves, you think like a wolf.
Yes, sir.
You act like a wolf. You treat each other like wolves would treat each other.
Yes, sir.
So we were raised by wolves for over 400 years, and we forgot that. So now our nature is that of a wolf and not that of a sheep.
That's right.
So when a male sheep see a female sheep, but he's looking at her through a wolf eyes, he don't have no respect for that. He's seeking other wolves, but he don't realize that he's a sheep.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? He's been made confused. So now he only appreciates that look like the wolf, although he's a sheep. But when you take a sheep that was raised by other sheep, he can see that female sheep as being something special because he can relate to it. See, we as a people have been raised by a foreigner, a person that is not like us. So now when we look at each other, we look at each other through their eyes. We don't look at each other through black eyes.
Yes, sir.
We look at each other through white eyes.
That's
and we
right.
see how the white eyes see us. They don't see us as much of anything.
That's right.
So when you look at each other through these type of eyes, you see the same thing that the enemy sees. Nothing. Because they don't respect us as being anything. So when you're taught in school, they teach us to be nothing. Kindergarten. Must we go there? Kinder means children.
Yes, sir.
Garden means to what? Plant seeds.
That's right.
They're not planting seeds of love for one each other in our schools. They're planting seeds to love whiteness in our schools. Cinderella, Snow White,
That's right.
Goldilocks.
Yes, sir.
Jack and Jill, you know, Little Bo Peep, all these are white children having fun in a white world. But where does that black child belong? What's special about that black child? Oh, by the 5th grade, they hit you with slavery. And you're looking around the room, you're like, wow, slave? Who wants to be a slave?
That's right.
Nobody. What is a slave? A nobody.
That's right.
So when you see yourself as a slave, you see yourself as what? Nobody. So when you see someone that look like you see what? Nobody.
Yes, sir.
So is it not easier to pull a gun on a nobody than it is to pull a gun on a somebody?
Teach.
We've been made to see eyes through our enemy eyes. And I'm not just speaking of white people as being just the enemy of the black man, but I'm speaking of what they have done to us, and that we have forgotten that this thing that they put us through called a peculiar institution, that's the real name of slavery.
Yes, sir.
We're being institutionalized. So they was training us. When you read the Willie Lynch letter, he teach you how to make a slave, not how to kill your slave, but how to make a slave that will serve you even after you set them free.
Yes, sir.
And we've been serving our slave masters for over 400 years. Every time you pull a gun on your brother and your sister, you're serving your slave master.
Yes, sir.
Every time you rob your brother or your sister, you're still serving your slave master. Have you ever been on a job and you think because you work for a black person you had it easy, but you find out it's worse to work for a black person than it is to work for a white person?
Yes, sir. That's right.
That's a shame, but it's the truth. Because we've been conditioned to hold each other back. We've been conditioned not to think, oh, trust me, you don't want the Negro to do your job. They can't do anything right. That's how we feel. When we want something done around the house, you go look at the yellow pages. And if you see a black business up there, you're like, nah, I'm not going to take a chance. All they want to do is talk and lollygag.
Right.
And you pass them up. But how are we to succeed? How are we to advance in life if we won't give each other a chance?
That's right.
But we've been taught not to give each other a chance. So every time you look at your brother and your sister, you automatically see what? You see fault. You don't see opportunity, you see fault.
Yes, sir.
We still look for opportunity in the hands of white people.
Yes, sir.
And believe it or not, they sit quietly on the wayside because they know they trained you well. They don't have to be up on you and keep telling you to do the same thing over and over. They already trained you. But here, and I give chapters and verses in the Bible so you can read them. But who else fit the description of Genesis better than you and I?
That's right.
It says, God made this covenant to Abraham. Know that a surety, Abraham. I'm really not reading it because I know it by heart. I read it so much.
Yes, sir.
But know that a surety, Abraham, that thy seed will be a stranger in a land that is not theirs.
Yes, sir. That's right.
And they shall be afflicted for 400 years. Come on now. Who in this lifetime, prior to ours, 2,000, 4,000, 6,000 years have been afflicted for 400 years, but the so-called black man and black
Yes,
woman
sir.
here in the hells of North
Yes,
America?
sir.
No one but us. Don't hate yourself in such a manner where you think God do not desire you. Don't hate yourself and feel that God do not want to come and relieve you of your pain and your sorrows, because Allah is here to relieve you of your pain
right.
and
Yes,
your
sir.
sorrows.
That's right.
See,
That's right.
we don't have to go to heaven. Heaven actually came to us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's right. That's right.
When you take someone that is willing to climb out of a life that is so out, there's no words that can really describe the life that Mr. Farad Muhammad had to leave behind. Because we think of that type of life as being someplace way up yonder. But you notice the people that teaches us that heaven is way up yonder, if you skip out on church one day and go downtown Chicago, those same people are enjoying downtown Blacklist because they got all of us tied up someplace else. But go downtown and all you see is white folks enjoying their heaven. They own the Magnificent Mile. They own the John Hancock. They own the Sears Tower, which is now the Willis Tower. They own these things, the Water Tower, the Gold Coast. What do you and I own? And we've been here for 400 years.
Teach.
We don't even own anything on 79th Street.
Yes, sir.
We don't own anything on 47th Street. We don't own anything. But we've been here for 400 years. The Mexicans own more than you and I.
Yes, sir.
Because we've been taught how to hate and despise each other.
That's right.
Is that not the teachings of a snake? But the problem with you guys is you call white people the devil. Well, I'm just saying, Jesus called them the devil too.
That's right. Teach all.
If we take a look in John 8:44, when Jesus is talking to the Jew and the Jinn, keep in mind that the Jinn is a non-Jewish white person. When you really learn the history of the Caucasian, you will understand that when you go to the Museum of Science and Industry, you never seen a black caveman. When you go to the Museum of Natural History, you never seen a black caveman. When you go to the Museum of Natural Sciences, you never seen a black caveman. Why? Because black cavemen never existed. We were always civilized.
That's right.
It wasn't until we was put in bondage that we start to lose our civilization. See, when you go to the Museum of Natural History and you see this white caveman, ask one of them, weren't there any black cavemen? Because you were building pyramids.
All right.
That's why there were no black cavemen. You didn't have time to dwell in a cave. You was building a civilization. So when you look at the Jew and the Jinn, the Jew was just the first to come out of the cave and accept the teachings of Moses.
That's right.
And the Jinn was the rebellious one.
That's right.
That was that one that I'm not taking nobody teaching. I'm going to do things my way. I'm going to just be low down and dirty. And think about it. Before you came here to America, the Europeans thought the earth was flat.
That's right.
So the Queen of England said, oh, you need a couple of sailors to sail on your voyage to find new land? Okay. What they did was they was hoping that that ship would fall off the edge of the earth. So they gathered up all the prisoners, the rapists, the murderers, the thieves, and said, this is your new crew. Go find that new land. And believe it or not, they found land. And those are your forefathers that started this country.
That's right.
The thieves, the murderers, the robbers, the crooks. Those are our slave masters. So we were trained by the best to be the worst that the civilization has to have. Often.
That's right.
So my point is, when Jesus was trying to get them to be right, come on, just hear my words. This is what Jesus was saying. And Jesus was no joke.
That's right.
See, people make Jesus out to be somebody that was soft and this, that. Jesus spoke truth. And sometimes truth what? Hurts. But when you're speaking the word of God, you can't care about feelings, because the word of God is more precious than anyone's feelings.
That's right. Yes, sir.
So in St. John, most people go 8:44, but I like to go a little deeper into it, 8:38 and 44, where Jesus is speaking to the Jew and the Jinn, and he's saying, here you go. Jesus is saying unto them, if God was your father, ye would love me.
That's right.
Think about it. If God was your father, ye would love me. For I proceeded forth and came from God. Neither came I of myself, but he sent me. Why do ye not understand my speech? Is it because ye are of your father, the devil? Think on it.
That's right.
This is in red. And it is in the Holy Bible. And it's in red. So Jesus is saying, are you of your father? So there's two fathers here. One of righteousness and one is pure wickedness. So when Jesus understood that, okay, you're not going to accept this. You don't love me. You're trying to kill me. You're trying to hang me from the cross. So is it because you are of your father, the devil? And in his lust you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and he abide not in the truth, because when he speak of a lie, he speaks of his own.
Yes, sir.
This is just the truth. Jesus wasn't here to just care about your feelings. Jesus wasn't here to make everybody happy. He was here to deliver a word. And that word was of God. But they was a rebellious people. And if you look at them, look at our people. Look at the way they dress now compared to the way they used to dress. Look at the music that we listen to now.
Yes, sir.
Now, you look at us and look at another civilized nationality. Go up north on Devon and look at the Indians or the Pakistanians, or go in a little village, someplace a little poor, and look at the Mexicans. And look how they treat their women compared to how we treat our women. How can a nation develop and be successful if you don't respect the woman that is giving birth to the future of that nation?
That's right. That's right.
Sisters walking around here, taking off more clothes. Brothers dirtier than dirty. They have the white t-shirts on with 25-cent juice stains on them, lollipop stains because they still eat and drink like children, although they're in their 40s. Their pants are sagging, their dirty underwear showing, and that's a go-getter?
No, sir.
Brother come up talking to sister, all leaning to the side, his little, whatever they call swagger on, and not saying anything positive, but already trying to say words to get her to go to bed with him before he even know her name. Is that the man that you desire? Is that the man you want to give birth to your children?
Think about it.
See, we have fallen to an all low standard, and that's not good.
That's right.
You are the best that God has to offer. Because you have to remember, a lot of our pro-black people like to say, all people come from black people. Well, if all people come from black people, why are you still submitting to that white God?
That's right. That's right.
The book says there was darkness upon the faces of the deep.
Yes, sir.
Now, yeah, when you look at this, and you talk about it, it gotta make some type of sense, because you can't get black from white no matter how hard you try.
That's right.
But when you look around this room and look at all the shades of blackness in here, you can see how you can get white from black.
That's right.
So why would a white God start off with a black people? But in Catholicism, they teach us that we had some type of plague. Why everything got to be negative about us?
That's right.
But we still submit to it. Oh yeah, you had leprosy. That's why your skin is black and the inside is white. Oh, and that's a curse? I thought it was dark like this to protect us from the rays of the sun.
That's right.
See, the difference with this skin and that skin, when the sunlight hit it, it absorbed vitamin E, vitamin A, vitamin D.
Yes, sir.
And we don't get, but now they want to say, oh, black people get skin cancer too. No, we don't. You think them Africans running around in Africa at 115, 125 degrees with no shirts on getting skin cancer?
No, sir.
That's what we'll look like. We'll just get blacker.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Oh, praise be to Allah for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. See, these teachings are life-giving teachings. It's to let you know as a black man and as a black woman that you are not cursed. You are the best that God has to offer. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said you are the cream. Why do he call you the cream? Because the cream always rises to the top.
Yes, sir.
You think that it was just by coincidence that they chose us to be the slave? They wanted to build a great nation. So in order to build a great nation, you must do what? First start off with a great people.
That's right. That's right.
Think on it.
Please.
Who can endure anything? My mother took us to Mississippi. I've never been back and never will.
Yes, sir.
And made us say, well, since you're down here, you might as well pick cotton to see what it's like. 5 minutes felt like 5 hours. It was probably about 115 degrees. It was the first time that I saw such heat that my brother couldn't dunk on the rim because it zapped all his energy.
Yes, sir.
We didn't want to play. It was so hot. So we went out to pick cotton, and the first time we picked, we got pricked. I'm like, "There's spikes in these things." And she's like, "Oh, it's a method to it." I'm like, so my uncle, who still owned the cotton field, came out and showed us how to get the cotton and pick it off. So we tried. We still got pricked under the nails, in the skin, and it hurts. It's a tearjerker. Think about doing that for sun up to sundown, 365 days a year. That was 5 minutes of hell that I would never want to experience again. But when you don't have a choice to say no, because when you say no, your family could be hanging from a bridge.
Yes, sir.
Would a man of God hang a family from a bridge?
No, sir.
To put fear in us, they would take our pregnant women, hang them upside down and slice the bellies open and let the babies fall out,
That's right.
bash the baby head, set them on fire, and pick off pieces for souvenirs so they could take home and remind their slaves what can happen to them. Is that how a man of God treat his people?
No, sir.
We got to think strongly on who we allow give us God.
That's right.
Because if a man can't treat you right, why would he teach you right?
Yes, sir.
Think on it. He don't want to give you salvation, because if he give you salvation, then you'll be on there like, why am I out here picking cotton? Why am I out here struggling? Why am I here suffering? When you laying back up in Barrington, in houses that sit on a block, solo,
right.
one address to a block, and you telling me I have to die to get mine? Show me the man that died and came back and had photographs of what heaven looked like.
That's right.
But see here, under the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, if we follow the law and live a righteous life, Allah will bless us to be in heaven.
That's right.
And let's say by any chance, if there was a heaven after death and you lived the life of a righteous Muslim, you can enjoy that too.
Yes, sir.
So why not have the best of both worlds? But no, we want to sit around and not do anything and let our parents say, and then say, please, Lord, forgive me for I have sinned. After you done wiped out a family of 5, after you done wiped out a family of 10, after you done shot some innocent child who was sitting in the bedroom playing a video game in the head.
That's right.
Bullets flying through homes, killing our children.
Yes, sir.
That's hell. They teach us that hell is someplace in the ground. Hell is your soul will burn for all eternity. But if your soul burns for all eternity, then the fire can't be that hot.
That's right.
But I know hell when I see a young child being taken from a mother's arms by a bullet.
Yes, sir.
And she have to live her days knowing that her child was snuffed from her.
That's right.
Or a child trying to go to the store and cops just assume that because he's black, he's violent and gun him down. Where's the justice for the black man?
Yes, sir.
And that woman had to stand and live the rest of her life knowing that her child was an innocent child. We look at Trayvon Martin being shot and gunned down, but they want to show images of him looking like a thug or looking like this. But now that the guy who murdered him has been arrested over 5 times already.
That's right.
6 times.
Yes, sir.
But now we have an innocent black child gone. Because in their eyes, looking through the eyes of a wolf, you are always wrong. You are always the criminal. You
Yes,
are
sir.
always vicious or demonic, as the officer said in St. Louis. He was like a demon. If he was like a demon and he's 25, almost 30 feet away from you, why did you have to shoot him so many times? He wasn't charging you.
That's right.
But it doesn't take much for them to justify the shooting of our black men. And we stand there and we take it. And then we try and rationalize, well, he could have done this, or maybe he did this, or, is it possible he did? You know what? It doesn't matter what he's done. There are whites that did greater things and was taken into custody.
That's right.
Officer carry a gun and a stun gun. Why not use the stun gun first?
That's right.
Isn't it supposed to be one step up? So if he have a knife, you can use your gun, but if he have no weapon, you should use your club or your stun gun. But for black men, it's straight to the gun. and you still look for justice from America, and they have never shown you any justice?
That's right.
I'm here to tell you that justice has come to America for us.
That's right.
And it's in the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
He tell us, rise up, black man, and accomplish what ye will.
Yes, sir.
You are not just great athletes. You don't just bounce a ball better than the white boys, but you do mathematics better than the white boys when you try.
Yes, sir.
The best architects are black architects.
That's right.
We build pyramids, and look how long they stand. They build a home, it fall down after 30, 40 years. It start to show cracks in the
That's right.
foundation.
Teach. That's right.
Do you know all whites in the day of coming out of the caves and all that wanted to get to Timbuktu to learn, to study? This is in Africa. It was the university capital of the world in Africa. Socrates, Plato, they went there. And they took that knowledge back to Europe. But as soon as they got their knowledge, they sent Napoleon in to destroy the school,
That's right.
to burn it to the ground. Have you ever asked yourself, why did Napoleon use cannons to shoot the faces off our Sphinx? Because he had big lips and broad noses, big noses. You know how some of our noses can get big.
Yes, sir.
You know, our lips can get big and full.
That's right.
But that's not an ugly thing.
That's right.
That's a beautiful thing.
That's right.
That's a beautiful thing. But he used his cannons to blow the faces off of them so that they cannot be recognized as being made by black men. See, they want to guide you through sport and play to keep your mind off of building a civilization. So as soon as they guide you and pay you millions of dollars, the guidance doesn't stop there. Then they guide you back to the white woman. So instead of reaching back and bringing your own woman up to enjoy that wealth, you go and get a white woman who come from wealth.
That's right.
She already have money. So when she divorce you, she could take half your money and give it back to mom and pa. We are messed up in more ways than one.
Yes, sir.
We are messed up in more ways than one.
Yes, sir.
And I'm just here to teach a teaching of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And he taught us that we can accomplish many of things, many of great things. I mean, what man in our history, in our time, other than the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, gave you schools in every major city so that you can educate yourself? We see how it is once we integrated our education with whites, our children became dumber and dumber. You know that movie, Dumber and Dumber? That was our children. Because they didn't put in them what they was putting in their own children. I was telling this story to the believers before about me loving math. So I was an ace in geometry. I was dating this girl who went to Hinsdale High. And I'm going to Austin on the west side of Chicago. So I go to the help her, with her geometry, and she opened her book. And I'm looking at the book. I'm like, yes, this is geometry, but I'm looking at the problems. So I called my father up. I said, hey, Dad, me has this geometry book, but the problems isn't complete. And remember him telling me, what does it say on the front? I said, it says analytical geometry. He said, yes, son, close that book because they don't teach you that in the city schools. My head was this big when I walked in that door. When I left, it was like this. And that's when I realized that all that I thought I knew, I really didn't know. See, they teach their children analytics, meaning to problem solve. So when you get out into the real world, you can start something from scratch. But they teach us the basics throughout our school. So what we do with our education is go down and apply for a job.
That's it.
We don't start businesses.
No, sir.
There was a 12-year-old white boy back in the dot-com days. Went on the internet because of his analytical skills at 12. He bought up McDonald's.com, Amoco.com when there was an Amoco, Shell.com, all these big name businesses for $1 because it only cost $1 at that time to buy a .com. But when the businesses went to get their .coms, it was no longer available. And what he did, he sold them back to them for $1 million each. He was the youngest millionaire and the fastest millionaire in history, a young white boy. We on YouTube, Facebook, Twittering now. They're out here trying to find out at 12 how to become millionaires. At 12, we're trying to figure out how can I persuade mom and daddy to give me the next video game. There's a difference in education. But with the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he was educating us where we were having high school level education by the 7th grade.
That's right, bro.
And when you graduated in 8th grade, you was pretty much taking a test for college level.
That's right.
There's a difference in education when you have love for the students that you're educating.
Teach, bro.
But when you do not have love for the students that you're educating, you give them anything. Our kids go in and take an ACT test and wondering, like, what is this? But when they go in, this is what they learn in grammar school. This is already taught. See, we have to understand, no one cared for us or gave us what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was giving us, and the only thing that we used against them, he called white people the devil.
That's right.
Well, white people can't come. Well, white people are in heaven. Why do you care if they could come or not? You are in hell. We're trying to get you out of hell. And the way you get you out of hell first is by freeing your mind.
That's right.
And once you free that mind, then the body can start to act on it. But if the body is over here and over there and everywhere else because the mind isn't together, you will never see heaven. I'm just saying, when the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was teaching this doctrine back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, brothers was being gunned down by cops for no reason. Our brothers in the South were still being lynched. Emmett Till was murdered during these times. These are crimes that were still going on, but yet he stood up and said that the Caucasian white man is the devil, and people still said he was wrong for saying that. But no matter how bad they treat us, we still love them.
That's right.
He had grocery stores, and he showed you how clean the grocery stores was. But out of our arrogance, we was like, I'm not shopping at that store. I'm not doing that. I'm not buying this. Even though he had his own farmland to give you the best food. Now look at our food today. Monsanto has a contract with the FDA that they don't have to even go through the FDA anymore. They can put out on the market whatever they want to. We don't care. We still gonna eat some fried chicken no matter how many drugs is pumped into it.
That's right.
They show you in movies like Food Inc. how they make chickens grow twice as big in half the time. All we see is chicken. I'm gonna batter it up, I'm gonna deep fry it, but we're not thinking about what went into that chicken.
That's right.
Now, if you want healthy chicken, you gotta pay top dollar for it. Why is the natural raised chicken cost more than the genetically raised chicken? The one that's been genetically modified, the one that have all the chemicals. It costs to make chemicals because they sell more of it. It's called, in their books, population control. That's why our people are dying at younger ages.
That's right.
They're looking sick and getting ill.
That's right.
And we don't know why. Because it's the poisons that we put into our system.
That's right.
Now, why is it that you can go out in Barrington and see another level of food? I mean, try it one day. Take a trip. It's kind of far out. It may take you 45 minutes to get out there on a Saturday, but just try it and see the difference. When you walk into a store, you can smell the fruit. How many of you smell the fruit when you walk into the store in our community? You can't smell the fruit. And you don't even wonder why. You just buy it. Oh, it's shiny. It's delicious. It's fine. Most of the fruit has been made in a lab. and they ship it into our communities.
That's right.
But you go out there, you don't even have to go that far. Go out to Skokie. Maybe a little further than Skokie. Go out to Glenview, because blacks are infiltrating Skokie now. So go out to Glenview. And walk into a jewel, and the first thing that hits you when the doors open is the smell of the vegetables and the fruit. That is natural. But what they give us is poison. And we wonder why we're all angry and agitated. Because we have chemical imbalances going all through our bodies. We wonder why we can't stand the slightest thing make us irritated. We're driving and we're frustrated and we don't even know why. It's Saturday. You don't have to go to work. Why are you frustrated? We have been messed up inside and out.
Yes, sir.
The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he teaches us to eat the best foods.
That's right.
And, you know, a lot of people don't like the fact when we talk about the hog or talk about, you know, it's only to get you to live a healthier life, because when we say don't eat it, it don't matter. But when the doctor tells you don't eat it, then it matters.
Right.
But we're trying to prevent the doctor from telling you not to eat it. Because when the doctor tells you not to eat it, it's already too late. See, the doctor is a business. He have bills to pay.
That's right.
So if he tell you how to eat to live, he gonna go out of business. Think on it. So he can't tell you how to eat to live, but he could tell you how to live long enough to keep his lights on. So I want you to eat just a little bit. Don't quit it all the way, you know, just a little bit so you can, you know, prolong your death. See, we don't think about the things that are being done to us. We are a beautiful people. We are a humble people. But when you put a rat in the corner and he has no way out, he's going to turn around and try and fight for his life. That's your mind. You don't hear that. That's not really going off in the temple. It's fine, brother. Don't worry about it. It's fine. We need a laugh. It's hot in here, so laughing to make you forget about the heat. So, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad only wanted to deliver a life-giving teachings. He wanted you to live life more abundantly. He wanted you to enjoy your life so you don't have to spend all your money on hospital bills, but on vacation. Do things, enjoying life. You know, when we go out every now and then, who do we see enjoying life? White people. You go to your lakefront, even out south where you thought it was black, you see them. You can't fault them for it. They're trying to sustain their life. What are we doing? We need to enjoy life more abundantly. But we have to cleanse that inside out. We got to get rid of all the poisons that is in us. Because if you ever been on a farm, and have you ever seen when they feed the hogs and how they push each other and run each other and trying to do this and try and get over there just to get to the slop jar? Do you actually know what they feed the hogs? It's like the waste and the leftovers of everything. Just anything, just throw it in a slop jar and the hogs eat it. So when you eat something, what does it do to you? It goes into your system and it becomes a part of you. So when you eat something healthy, you feel more energetic. Your mind feels loose and you feel like you could think faster, you could do things better, you know. But then when you eat something that's not good for you, your stomach get all upset because it's in your system and you're all tight. So when you see that hog, it was not designed to be eaten. It was a medicine. But we took it because of slavery and just passed on through history. We really just got used to eating it. But when you have to survive and the master come out, cut the guts out, and he take the best parts, even though there is no best parts, for himself and throw you the guts, the waste, the bowels, all that flows through there. But we gotta survive. So now I gotta figure a way to clean this, get it clean and take it out as much as possible. And I gotta keep my children alive. So now I gotta find a way to cook it up enough to get as much of the poisons out of it as possible to feed my family, knowing I don't really want to give it to my family, but if I don't, they won't have anything to eat.
That's right.
We have done that for 310 years forcefully.
Yes, sir. That's right.
It became a part of us. Now it's soul food. But how can it be soul food when it destroys the soul?
Yes, sir.
All praises due to Allah for the honorable Elijah Muhammad. See, it can't be soul food.
Right.
Because anything that's good for the soul should be pure,
Yes, sir.
not something that is of filth. So, not in one chapter, but in 2 chapters of the Bible, where it speaks in Leviticus 11, 7 and 8, it says, "And do not eat of the swine, though he divideth the hoof, and feet not clothed, yet cheweth of the chud, it is not clean for you."
That's right.
Deuteronomy not that Deuteronomy. I read this book so much, it's in like 4 different parts, literally parts. But I don't want to get a new one because I like this one. It's a little easier for me to go to. Okay, I'm missing almost a page. Oh, here it is. Okay. Deuteronomy in 19, which chapter 19, verse 5, is saying, "And do not eat of the swine flesh, before it is unclean. And it cheweth not of the chub, but it is divinely prohibited." Divinely prohibited.
Yes, sir. That's right.
But Jesus said that we can't eat it. Knew that was in the head. So I pulled this chapter out as Jesus. They're just going to take care of it now. In Matthew 5 and 17, St. Matthew 5 and 17, "Think not that I have come to change or destroy the laws of the prophets before me, but to fulfill the laws of the prophets before me."
Right.
So he never said it was okay.
Never.
So we have to understand that he did not come to destroy the law. He is a man of God. God brought the law. So therefore, if he's a man of God, why would he destroy God's laws? And if it's divinely prohibited, then leave it alone.
Yes, sir.
All praise is due to Allah for the honorable Elijah Muhammad. See, there's truth. We have to be willing to accept the truth. There's truth in this, even though they tried to take this and rule us with it. But they could not hide or remove all the truth from it.
That's right.
See, this book here, the Holy Bible, is bits and pieces of the Torah. The Torah is the book that the Jews or the Hebrews use as a religious book. So what they did was they pulled some scripture from the Torah and gave it to the jinn. And there was this jinn called Constantine,
Yes, sir.
who was a general, a great warrior for the Europeans. And as he conquered nations, he held his sword up and said, "With this I will conquer," and flipped it upside down into a cross and said, "With this I will rule." They have been ruling nations with this.
That's right. That's right.
Because while every nation is waiting to die to see God, they're living heaven right here on earth underneath our feet. All praise is due to Allah for the honorable Elijah Muhammad. It's just truth. And that's what we're missing, truth. It's a different type of truth. It's a truth that our ears are not used to hearing.
Right.
But if we would read the Old Testament and study the Old Testament, then you're okay. Because the Old Testament is Islam. See, a lot of people don't understand. See, Islam really isn't a religion.
No, sir. That's right.
The Quran is the newest of all the books, because we didn't need a Quran. We didn't need this book
No, sir.
before 6,000 years.
Yes, sir.
We didn't need it because people was living a righteous life at that time.
Teach, right.
It wasn't until that 6,000 year period when the youngest man came among us
Yes, sir.
and started to cause confusion.
Yes, sir.
But who was that young man? You remember in the Garden of Eden there was a snake?
Yes, sir.
It wasn't a physical snake.
Teach.
It was a person with a snake type mindset.
Yes, sir.
It was a person that the Indians said speak with a forked tongue.
That's right. Teach.
It wasn't a physical slivery snake, although he was slivery.
Yes, sir.
And his path was that of a crooked path.
Yes, sir.
Came in the Garden of Eden and started to whisper in the ears of the righteous
That's right.
and caused them to go astray.
Yes, sir. Sir.
See, Islam is a way of life.
Yes, sir.
And if you read the Old Testament in the Bible, it's a way of life. Think on it. These are laws that you must live by. And Islam is a way of life for us because when we walk, talk, everything that we will do will be Islam. But if you're a sheep that's been raised by wolves for 400 years, you get knocked off your axis.
That's right.
You're no longer who you are.
That's right.
You are what they want you to be.
That's right.
So now we're a sheep that thinks like a wolf.
Yes, sir.
We don't teach you to go out and make mockery of anyone. They know this.
That's right.
They know these teachings.
That's right.
And they hide these teachings under the symbol of the Masonic Hall.
That's right. That's right.
See, not to hurt anyone's feelings, but Masons that are black are not as equipped as the Masons that are white.
That's right. Teach.
See, Masons that are white have the real knowledge. They have the true lessons because we gave them to them. Mason means Muslim son.
Yes, sir.
And what happened was, after they started all that deceit and division among the people, we had to get rid of them right away, off with the head. You know, but then there were some that meant well. So we educated them, we taught them, and we gave them 32 degrees of knowledge
Yes, sir. That's right.
so that we would trust them enough to do business with them. And with that 32 degrees of knowledge, we allow them to do trade among us. You know, they could come among us and bring different treasures from their land. But they also use that knowledge against us.
That's right.
So when the first ships start to hit Africa for slaves, they sail with the flag of the moon and the star with the sword over it. And we thought, okay, they're good white people, so they thought. And they said, you can make more money and gold in our land than you are making in your own.
That's right.
So we believed that. So we jumped on that ship. We got on that ship thinking, you know how we are about money. This ain't nothing new. We love money.
That's right.
So we got on that ship thinking, okay, they are selling, they do have the flag, and we do trust these, but they use that against us. Because when they got 6 miles out into the sea, they dropped that flag and raised the flag of skull and bones.
Yes, sir. Teach. Teach. Right.
There was no one to speak the language. So when we wanted to go home, there was no one we can talk to.
That's right. That's right.
And the sad thing is, the first to come over here, after giving birth, they were all wiped out.
Yes, sir.
So they could raise the child to think like a wolf.
That's right. That's right.
All praise due to Allah for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. See, when you take a child from its natural habitat, you could teach it what you want to teach it because the parents are not there to watch over what you're telling their children.
That's right.
So no one's there to teach them their original language. No one's there to teach them their culture. No one's there to teach them about their God. Because you done wiped that generation out.
Yes, sir.
So what's left is a bunch of children that are left wandering just aimlessly. Look at our streets of Chicago, LA, even look at New York. Look at our people. We have been stripped from what is natural for us. This is not normal for grown men to walk with their drawers hanging out. That's not normal.
That's right.
It's not normal for grown men to have white t-shirts and wear gym shoes every day. That's not normal. It's not normal just to hang on a corner and not do nothing. Sister got a purse, probably got something underneath her waist and something like that. You know, I mean, we know the dangers, but because they know they trained us as attack dogs to only attack each other, that they're safe. That's what happened when you train a sheep to think like a wolf.
Yes, sir.
So we have been trained to disregard the lives of other black people, but look at whites as something precious and to hold. Okay, what the white man doing walking our neighborhood? He got a lot of nerves. All we doing is huffing and puffing. Ain't nothing gonna happen. How many times have you heard of whites being jumped in a black community? How many times have you heard of a drive-by shooting on a white man just standing in a black community? Never. But you can see a group of children in a park and Negroes will drive up and say, they look happy. Bow, 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 bow. Because you're not supposed to be happy.
That's right.
You're supposed to be in hell like I'm in hell. This is just the truth. And this is not by accident, people. This is by design.
Yes, sir.
So if a man is a man of God, why would he allow this to continue? If a man is truly a man of God, why would he set drugs in our community, not by accident, but on purpose?
Yes, sir.
Come on. Black people don't own any airplanes. All praise due to Allah. Black people don't own any ships to ship it in.
Yes, sir.
Black people don't own any land to grow it. But why is it always landing in our community?
That's right.
Do you know if you wanted to buy a handgun, it'll cost you about $950 for a handgun. If you want to buy an assault rifle, it could cost you anywhere around $3,000. How we in the poorest neighborhoods have all the assault weapons, all the guns, because they're given to us. They're given to a people without control. They're given to a people without foresight. So if you knew these teachings, you wouldn't turn these guns on your people. I'm going to tell you who you may turn them on, but you wouldn't turn them on your people because your people didn't hang you from trees, didn't hang you from bridges, didn't hang you just for the sake of hanging you. It's a shame that our people had to jump into trees and hide bushes when they heard a group of white people driving down the street. That's not normal. But we had to do it. That's who you should be angry with, but yet you're angry with each other. You can't stand each other. You despise each other.
That's right.
You should love one another because your brother is struggled like you struggle.
That's right. That's right.
How is it that I could live in a poor neighborhood and you live next door and you come climbing in my window? What you gonna steal from me?
That's right.
I mean, if I had something, I wouldn't live next to you. But yet, you want to come in my window and steal. Oh, praises be to Allah for the honor of Muhammad. You could catch the Madison Street bus straight down to Oak Park. They got stuff to steal. But yet, you want to come in my window. We have been trained. We have been trained well. But we need a teaching that can break that training. We need a brainwashing. Yes, because our brains are filthy. So they say, oh, they brainwashed you over there. Yes, we did. because your brains are filthy.
Yes, sir.
It's nasty. So you need something that could get down there like that old scrubbing board and scrub that brain clean. Because you can't say it's not a day that you go by that some filth that come in the air, that come in your mind that you think about, or you see a sister and you're trying to keep your eyes above her waist. You know, I mean, that's through conditioning. That's not our nature. That is not the nature of the black man and woman.
No, sir.
It was a time when brothers would complain, man, I wish this woman would hurry up because she's taking her time prepping her hair. She's making sure her clothes fit well. She's putting her makeup on properly. Now, they come out flip-flops and pajamas. You ready? Yeah, we going to the show. Harry, like, love yourself more than what you do today.
Yes, sir.
Because women are dying, literally dying, to look like you. They lay on beaches in California, Florida, and sometimes in nice weather in Chicago to get a suntan to look like you. And the ones that are scared to lay in the sun go to these spray-on parlors and get sprayed brown. So they walk around spraying their bodies with chemicals to look like you. That's why the big thing is Beyonce. So now they want you to go to a factory so they can put implants here, and implants here, because you are of nature. And being of nature, just like the earth have curves and mountains and hills and valleys, you have those things by nature. All praises to Allah by Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You are beautiful. They taught you to hate yourself. They taught you to think that you are ugly. They taught you to feel this way about yourself, but you're greater than that. You are the mother of all civilization. You are God's best. All praises due to Allah for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And black man, you need to see her as such and respect her as such. Because you can't be anything if you don't have a great woman by your side. All praises due to Allah for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. These teachings are life-giving teachings. They're not a teaching to make you despise someone. It's just a teaching to let you know what that person has done to you and how they have messed us up. So if you're on a bus and you sleep and somebody go in your pocket and take your wallet, and I wake you up and say, he stole your wallet, I didn't tell you to hate that man. I just told you what he had done to you.
That's right.
I'm not telling you to hate white people. We don't got time for that. We need to self-improve. We need to clean ourselves up. We don't got time to hate anyone. But what we do have time for is to pray to Allah to bless us with clarity, to help us figure this thing out, because we need help figuring it out. Because there's no reason that such a great people have to be on the bottom of all civilization.
Yes, sir.
All praises due to Allah for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I'm not saying I have much, but I have a ton. And when I mean a ton, I mean Allah has blessed me with a beautiful wife of support.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Children that I've never had to receive a call from the police saying, hey, we got your oldest son, Rashid, down here. Thank God I have never had to receive those calls, because they have been raised to carry themselves on a presidential level.
Yes, sir.
I ain't talking about presidential like United States presidential. I'm talking about on a godly level.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Meaning that they want to carry themselves, when somebody see them, they don't feel like they need to cross the street.
That's right.
When someone see them, they feel like they're in the presence of a good person.
Yes, sir.
We're not saying you have to be the most successful person. We're not saying you have to break the bank and money you make, but you have to carry yourself in a respectful way.
Yes, sir.
All praises due to Allah for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. When you see any of these brothers walking the street, and they don't have to have their bow ties on, you don't feel fearful. Because when you've been, seriously, this is no joke, but when you've been blessed with the glow of God, seriously, a glow of God, that people feel comfortable around you. People can see this. People can associate with this. People can say, oh, that brother is a good brother. You know, and that's what you want to be. You just want to be a good person. We're not trying to say you're going to be the best because none of us are perfect. We all going to have our flaws.
That's right.
That's why we say in our prayer, we're striving to be upright.
Yes, sir.
You cannot be upright in a down wrong world. I was trying to think of something, but it didn't come out. That's not as cool as what I was trying to think of, but I couldn't think that fast. I'm getting old, I guess. But in a low down world, that's what I was trying to say. That would have been cool, but I blew it already, so it's not cool now.
Yes, sir.
Oh man, you know, and these teachers are really a happy teaching because we're finding ourselves.
That's right. That's right.
We're finding who we are, and to find that you're better than what they said you were, that's a great feeling. It should make you happy, and we should laugh. We shouldn't feel down. We shouldn't feel oh man, revenge. No, don't. You know what? They already trying to give Islam a bad name. So when they say on the news, you hear Muslim terrorists, terrorist Muslim, Islam terrorists, or extremists, or something. They do that so that whenever you think Islam, you think terrorists. You can't help but to think it. Hell, I think it sometimes. I say, I'm like, wait, I'm a Muslim. I can't make them make me feel that way. But that's called programming, subliminal messages. So when they talk about our young black men that they shoot down in the street, what do they say? Oh, he was like a demon. He was so demonic. Or he was this, or he was that. To justify why they shot him. And people are like, oh yeah, that's them. So what they show on the news, think about it. When they show on the news, neighborhood shootings, black this or black that, and you fill the news up. There's other news out there. Trust me, there's other news that could be talked about. But they want to keep the news about the black community, the violence in the black community, this and that. So now, when somebody white shoot a black person, it's automatically justified. It's automatically justified. Because they program you to think, I'm sorry, sinuses are starting to drain, but I don't want to stop and drink any water because I got this energy flowing. I'm going to keep it going. You know, but they want to program you to think that the black community is violent. And that is when you go there, you got to fear for your life. So now when whites want to pull out a gun and shoot one of our young black men down or women, it's automatically justified because they are violent people. See, what we don't know is that this propaganda is used to break down not just us, but anyone that white people want to remove, let's say. So we think about Islam terrorists, but when the white cop shot the brother down, when the white guy shot Trayvon Martin down, when the white ex-cop shot the truck up because he thought he saw a shotgun. Shotguns are kind of big, if I'm not mistaken. Kind of big. So I don't know how you thought you saw a shotgun. And I don't know how they're going to pull a shotgun up and out the window of a truck in the first place. But, you know, because you thought you saw that, that's all it took for them to take their lives and to get off. That's all it took. But when a sister who has reported a husband beating on her and fired 7 shots in the air, not hitting anyone, get 21 years in prison, and you still look at him for justice, you got the problem. It's no longer them, it's you. We will not have any justice under these laws. So what we need to do is prep our men to look like men and not like this image that they try and portray us as. You know, you see a black man at 40 years old and he got braids and pigtails. Something is wrong. Something is wrong, not just with him, but at home. And not just at home, but at whoever gave birth to that. Something is wrong. See, we have to understand that we are a people that are of God. And when I say that, why did I say that? It's because this book says it. Did not the book say we are what? Created in the image and after the likeness of God. Now keep in mind, if black people are the first people on earth, I'm making a point, and everybody else came from us, when they say We are created in the image. To have an image, you must what? Reflect light. You must be made of matter. So if you're in the image, and the likeness meaning your mindset, your thoughts are that of godly thoughts.
Yes, sir.
See, that's what we must try and strive for, to get back to that point, to get back to those godly thoughts. But it's hard to be in a godly thought when you're surrounded by such filth. Every channel you turn to, I know it may hurt some hearts, but why is it that everything got to have a gay or a lesbian in it? I mean, if you look at it, you think you have a good show going on, then there's two gay guys, two gay women. Did not God destroy nations for that type of filth? Rome was full of it. So when we look at when Babylon was full of it, Sodom and Gomorrah was full of it.
Yes, sir.
So they had to be destroyed. When a man knows it is not natural for a man to enter a man. That's not right. And a woman to be with woman. God made man to be with woman to produce.
That's right. Look at it.
See, when they start to feed our children that filth, not just on one channel, but on all the channels. And then look at the music. So we think we got black entertainment television, but everything is twerking and doing this and doing some bodily dysfunction, and that's supposed to be black entertainment. So that's what you're saying? That's the type of stuff that entertain black people? It may entertain Negroes, but it don't entertain black people. See, we have to understand that this society is not out to give us justice in any form or fashion. So if I gotta turn off the only black station we have just because I don't want my children to see the filth, and then you gotta monitor other stations because you don't want the ideals of homosexuality and gay and lesbianality, whatever they call that stuff, enter your child's mind, you might as well just take the television and throw it out the window.
Yes, sir.
Because we've been surrounded by it. And like I say, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do, that's on you. But I'm just saying, God destroyed nations for that. Because it's not clean, it is not healthy, and it's not what we do. We have to live life in the likeness of God. And that's the thing, when you start to try and read the Old Testament and look at the laws of the Old Testament, they're simple laws. It's not anything hard. But when you live in a world that is based off of uncleanliness and injustice, then it's hard. Thou shalt not sleep with my neighbor. Okay, fine. My neighbor's wife. Fine, okay. Thou shalt not commit fornication. Okay, fine. But when you're surrounded by all of that daily, you can't help but to subject yourself to it because that's the only thing they show. And when you turn on the television, that's all you see. Most of the people on TV that's in the same bed are not married. They're not raising a family. They remove shows like The Cosby Show. When you watch The Cosby Show, you'll see a successful black man, successful black woman raising a family with values. Now, what TV show do we have that hold values? Oh, they'll give us some buffoonery, but nothing serious like The Cosby Show. So you get a man in some plaid and a bald head and crazy shit come in, hey, honey, doing this song and dance jig. Meet the Browns, But they don't want to give us anything positive anymore. And then we don't want anything positive because if something comes on, we won't support it. That's so phony. No black couple is married. No black couple is successful like that. No black children act like that. Turn. Because we can no longer relate to it. But when The Cosby Show, when we were growing up, we rushed in the house. We wanted to stop playing it. Catch one, catch all. Softball, baseball, basketball. Cosby Show, man, I'll be back out later. And you go in the house and you want to sit down and watch it because that was the lifestyle that we all hoped for at one point.
Yes, sir.
Now we're hopeless. We're hopeless people. We have given up on everything. We've just given up on life itself. When you just hang out, don't even want to talk. What's up, man? Oh, no, what you doing? Like, what did he just say? We don't articulate anymore. We don't speak like men anymore. We mumble everything. That's what a child does. You can't be 40 and mumble.
Yes, sir.
Articulate. Speak. But we don't do that. We not to make mockery of my people, because I love my people, no doubt. But we have a few humps and hills and mountains to conquer so that we can be the precious people that we once was. You know, when you take this man and you add this woman with the right mindset, you have a force to be reckoned with. When you take this man and this woman with the right mindset, their children will be a force to be reckoned with.
That's right, brother.
And you continue that, there'll be generations of children being forces to be reckoned with. But we have to start someplace and sometime. And this is the time. Because like every nation before was judged by God, America too has to be judged. Do you think you can murder as many innocent black people? I mean, there's no point in time in history have a people have been murdered like we have. That's including our brothers, the Indian, because they are our brothers. You're talking about a nation of Indians wiped out to 2 million total? Look how big this country is. 2 million. They're almost extinct. You think, oh, that's 2 million, that's a lot of people. No. That's almost extinct. Look how many people we lost on the Middle Passage. The Middle Passage is from Africa and the 9,000 miles it took to get to America. Jumping off the ships because they did not want to endure what they knew they were going to have to endure. And others were thrown out to make an example, feeding our people to the sharks. And when one of their people, this is something. When one of their men will fall over, as they try and rescue them, they'll take a black baby and throw it over so the sharks should all fight for that black baby. First they'll cut it to make it bleed. That's the poor part. Make it bleed, then throw it overboard so the sharks can smell the blood and go after that baby. And they can help their man back on board. This is what we went through.
That's right.
And we can't stand each other? How is that? We should be more united now than ever before. Again, I'm just telling you what he's done to you. I'm not telling you how you can feel about him. That's between you and him. But what I am saying is that we have a problem.
That's right.
And sad enough that we will not resolve that problem until we accept the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What do he teach us? All praise due to Allah for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. What do he teach us? He teaches us how to do for self.
Thank you.
That's the thing. When he was with us, he did what? He showed us the best of the best. He showed us how to do a store, a grocery store, and what do you call it? Your supermarket. Yes. Your supermarket. So when you go out and shop, but we were so vindictive and arrogant and spiteful and everything negative, we're not going to go there. But when you went in, you're like, wow, the floors are clean. We had people come past and wipe to see it. He will get on a brother. He'll say, tell a brother, did you clean the store? Or did you clean the temple? Or did you clean? And brother said, yes. He said, did you go in the corners and clean? I said, yes, I cleaned the corners. Did you clean above the rim of the door? I'm like, well, nobody can. He said, did you clean it? They'll go back in and they have to clean it. Everything must be clean. Like with us, everything must be clean. Because we've been surrounded by so much filth, every part of us need to be clean. Like I said, I'm not sitting up here saying I'm the most righteous person because I'm not. You can't be 100% righteous, not in this world, but you can always strive to be. And there's nothing wrong with trying. If you make it there, all praises due to Allah. I doubt it, but if you make it there, all praises due to Allah. And if you don't, at least no one can say you didn't try.
That's right.
That's all we say. Try to be upright. Try to want for your brother what you want for yourself.
That's right.
And when you want for your brother what you want for yourself, everything else should fall in place.
That's right.
Now, if you one of them sick individuals that want distress, joblessness, and all the other negative things that our people are already suffering, and we're not talking about you. We're talking about the one that want a better life for themselves. We're talking about one that want to achieve things, one that have goals. And if you want what you want for yourself, for your brother, then that's half the battle.
Yes, sir.
But I can't say it enough. You, without this, is nothing. You need this right here.
That's right.
She is the backbone to every great man.
Yes, sir.
When we call her wife, we kind of say sometimes like, nah. There ain't no really nah. I'm just trying to get it off my butt and do something. You know? Or in a nice, humble way, well, do you think you should do this? And sometimes, you know, we're stubborn and we want to do things our way, but sometimes our best partner and our best adversary is our wives.
That's right.
You know? And when you respect that as such, you will see that you can accomplish so much more. Because God gave us the best. And why I say you the best? Because in you, being the original woman, in you, God had to work to create life. He don't work in you. He's working in her.
That's right. Teach.
For when you in your right mindset, you are God. Because we're in the image and the likeness of God. So when you're in your right mindset, you are that. But you can't produce a God if this isn't right.
Teach, brother.
This over here have to be respected, have to be loved and cherished. You know, like they do the white women. You know, they sit them up on the roster and the post and make them look all fantastic and this and that and hands off. No, hands off of this right here.
That's right. Yes, sir.
All praises due to Allah for honorable Elijah Muhammad. I use a lot of history because I want to remind you how great you once were. So I use history because when you look at Nefertiti, she couldn't have been a white woman to do what she done. Her husband was sick and ill. And them Europeans, the Italians, knew it. So they was like, this is the time to attack. This is the time to attack. So they want to attack Egypt. It's because he was sick. He was really sick and he couldn't fight. So he called his wife and told her to tell his general to take charge and lead the army. Being a black woman, never listening, she had the steelmakers make her an identical uniform as her husband and led the army and conquered the Italians. Conquered them without losing a troop. See, we have to understand how great you are, but when they eliminate your history from the school books, you never know how great you are. That's why we must educate ourselves.
That's right.
And it's important to know how great your woman is so you can respect her more. But when you see this that presents herself on the street in the pajamas and the flip-flops, you're like, really? But you got to take off the dirty white t-shirt and stop showing your underwear so you can be deserving of a great woman like this.
That's right. That's right.
So we all need improvement. Marcus Garvey said, the Negro doesn't need improvement, he needs universal improvement because the world looked down on us. Every civilized nation looked at us as a joke.
That's right.
But the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is here to say that we are no joke.
That's right.
We are the God. We are that all nationalities come from.
Yes, sir.
But we have to love ourselves enough to accept that. and say, you got to remember. You got to remember. If Jesus is telling the Jew and the Jinn that you're not of my Father and you are of your father, the devil, why do we want to seek God through them? If Jesus was telling them they couldn't lead to God.
That's right.
Jesus had to turn one of them around in Canaan. And like I say, he was no joke. Jesus, if I had a superhero, man, you know, you're looking at Jesus. Jesus, he didn't play with the tongue. But they make him look like he's just this humble guy that was so passive. If you slap me on the right, you can slap me on the left.
No.
No.
No,
If you
sir.
take my coat, you can have. If you take my cloak, you can have my coat. No. Then get down like that.
That's right.
That's slave religion.
That's right.
That's what you tell your slaves.
That's right.
If I decide to slap you on the left, you give me your right. If I want to take your cloak, I'm going to take your coat. We didn't have cloaks, nor did we have coats. Barely had clothes back in the slavery. But that's what you teach your slaves.
That's right.
But we come and we speak about the Jesus. And Jesus, like I say, he was a bad man.
That's right.
In a good way. Not a bad man in a bad way. Just like one that you don't mess with. But in St. Matthew, and I'm going to bring this to a close. I'm not going to keep you too long because it is hot in here. I don't know how you feel. But me up here with all these lights, I feel like a turkey in a easy bake oven. But in St. Matthew 15:22-26, a woman of Canaan came out of the same castes of he, crying out to Jesus, saying, "O my Lord, thou son of David, my daughter is grievously vexed with the devil." But Jesus answered her not. Pretty much he ignored her. And his disciples, here you go. And I'm almost losing my page, okay. And his disciples came and tried to shove her away. But she kept screaming after him, "O my Lord, thou criest after us. Help me, for my daughter is grievously vexed with the devil." And Jesus, you know, you could tell how they're writing. This is like he kind of slowly turned around and said, "Sorry, but I am only sent unto the lost sheep in the house of Israel." So he's telling you in St. Matthew's 15, chapter 15, verse 22 and 26, I am only sent, not to everyone, because we're living high and mighty at this time. I am only sent to the lost sheep in the house of Israel. And she was serious. She didn't want to give up. So she was like, then she came and said, then came she and worshiped him, saying, "Lord, help me." But he still answered her slowly and said, "How is it that I take bread from the children's mouths and cast it to the dogs?"
That's right.
Wow.
That's right.
How should I take this truth and cast it to the dogs? So what is he saying there? You are not deserving of this truth. See, they get you all mixed up on what Jesus was about. Jesus served God. He didn't make things all comfortable and made you feel at ease. If it was the truth of God, it was the truth of God. And if the truth hurt you, it's because you live a lie. All praise due to Allah for the honorable Elijah Muhammad. And if the truth hurts, it's because you're living a lie. See, people have to understand that these teachings are not about feelings. It's about getting your parent to kick you in the butt to do the right thing. So when a child wouldn't listen, obey, you didn't sit back and say, "Oh, well." But some of these parents do evidently nowadays. But if you didn't listen, I never really got it, but I know somebody who did. Ain't gonna say no names, but, you know, and I watch them say, "Oh, man, she's trying to kill my brother. What's wrong with this woman?" So I learned not to do that. Note to self, put in my pocket. But I think my older brother Ford showing me what to do and what not to do.
Yes, sir.
Mostly what not to do. So I'm good. But, and I look at him today, he don't have no arrest record. He don't have no police report. He don't have no rap sheet because he got them when he needed it. And I took the notes when I needed it. But, you know, just making fun and making jokes. But the truth is, you spare the rod, you spoil the child, right?
Yes, sir. That's it.
And sometimes we need that rod. Our people need that rod, and that rod is truth.
Yes, sir.
And when you speak the truth and it hurts, it's all right, it will heal because all wounds heal.
That's right.
You just got to accept the truth so next time it doesn't hurt as much.
That's right.
We are a beautiful people.
Yes, sir.
We just forgot how beautiful we are.
That's right.
So, all praise be to Allah for the honor of Elijah Muhammad. As I bring this to a close, I just want to say a few things why I feel, and I wanted to say to me what's the best for last, why I feel that this man is the man of the hour. Because in Deuteronomy 18:18, because we are giving up, we already accepted our slave masters, God. We already accepted that. You know, we gave up. So, but let me explain to you. God wants his people back.
Yes, sir.
So what he does in every nation, he raised one up from among them. Deuteronomy 18:18, I will raise up one from among their brethren, and like unto thee, I will put my words into his mouth.
Right.
I will speak unto thee what I command him to speak. He will speak unto thee what I command him to speak. Maybe I need to read it directly. You know? So therefore, when this man would speak, he could only speak the words of who? God.
Yes, sir.
He could not speak the words of himself or what he thought. He had no thought. His thoughts didn't matter. It was only what God commanded him to speak. And so when you look at this, think on it. This man would only speak the words of God, but he had a third grade education. Third grade education. The government sent scholars from Oxford, Yale, Harvard to contradict what he was teaching, and they all returned failures.
Look at it. That's right. Yes, sir.
Think on it. All praise due to Allah for the honor of Elijah Muhammad. A third grade education sends scholars back from Yale, Oxford, Harvard, failures, because they could call him many things, but they never could call him a liar.
That's right. That's right. Teach.
But you speak of this, why? Because I know in Malachi, before you close out the Old Testament, God said, behold, I will send you Elijah,
That's right.
the prophet, before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord.
Yes, sir.
And he should turn the hearts of the fathers towards their children, and the hearts of their children towards their fathers. And then shall I come and smite the earth with a curse. When you look at that, his teachings is about family and uniting the family, the black family.
Yes, that's right.
His teachings is about making you take ownership and responsibility for your actions, and making you worthy of him to be that you are, and that's the mother of all civilization. You
Yes.
can't beat that. All praises due to Allah for the honor of Elijah Muhammad. When you look at the world and you flip through the channels, every nationality you see have to come from your blackness. We are a beautiful people. We may not act as such right now, but you got to keep in mind, we went through something that most people have not been through.
That's right.
400 years of acting other than self.
Yeah.
And what is your own self? A righteous Muslim. You may not want to call yourself that, but if you live out the Old Testament and follow the rules and the regulations of the Old Testament, which is law, then by nature it is what it is.
That's right.
And keep in mind, Muslim in your original tongue mean one who submit to the will of God.
That's all it means.
That's all it means. It don't mean like they say terrorists and this. So you saying Muslim terrorists and all this stuff, but ask them, what does Muslim mean? One who submit to the will of God. And keep in mind that this book was translated out of what? The original tongue, Aramaic, Hebrew, and Arabic. Ancient Egyptian and everything black before it hit white. So keep that in mind when you look at the translations of this book. And keep in mind also, what does the word holy mean? Something that has not been mixed, changed, or diluted in any form. You are a blessed people.
Yes,
You are a beautiful people. So as I bring this meeting to a close, you know, me teaching like this, telling you that the slave master mean us no good, you can expect the Archdiocese saying, hey, we need to fund him and help them accomplish some goals. So we can't get that type of help. So we rely on you for help. So we have a sister that will come along and collect charity. And if there's anyone here that actually liked what they heard, you can not join anything.
That's right.
You're just reclaiming your own. And what is your own? One who submit to the will of God.
That's right.
You know, but in the right way. Not in the way that our former teachers wanted us to submit to, but in the way that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was raised to teach us. And I also want to thank the brothers of the FOI for doing a great job.
Yes, sir.
You know, and Brother Captain for, you know, making sure everything flowed well, and he's always, I'm telling you. He's, you know, I can ask for a better advisor, you know, friend, brother, captain, you know. I may be teaching now, but at one point he was my captain. And he's a little softer now. But I remember one day I came into temple and then shaved fully. He gave me a dry razor. I ain't seen him do this to these brothers yet. I'm kind of upset about that. But he is a good friend. And also, I'd like to thank my brother Michael, who traveled from California.
Yes, sir.
He left beautiful Sunshine State. Woo! I'm thinking I wanted to change shoes with him and go to California right now, but he came here, and I mean, suited and booted, as they say,
Right.
ready to hit the ground, because he believed in the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I also want to thank my new assistant, Miss Brother David, who I was wrong for hitting with this at the last moment, but the minister did it to me, so I returned the favor. He did a great job at opening up. That was his first time. That was his first time. He did a great job, and I appreciate the brother. I appreciate my lieutenant, Brother Ahmad. I get him grief all the time, but on the side, I don't tell him in front of anyone, so I decided today I'd say it in front of people. He is an excellent brother. I mess with him every minute I get. That's not going to change. But at least you can say I said it in front of everyone that, you know, he's an excellent lieutenant, and I think he's doing a great job with the brothers. My brother Gerald, you see all these hot lights? See all these cameras? That brother said, I got you. Don't worry about it. I didn't know he meant he got me. He all expense paid. He took care of all of this. I mean, fantastic. Camera guy, professional, brother. And if anybody need weddings or anything filmed, get that brother's card. I mean, he's the real deal.
Yes, sir.
Because I am cooking up here right now. But I appreciate Brother Gerald doing this for us and for the temple. And last but not least, I have my extended family is up here. Yeah, they up here. They from a warm climate too. I don't know how they did it, but they pulled it off. They came up here. My wife and I, we went down there in December. We were actually supposed to spend like 3 days, but we was held hostage for an extra day. 17 hours going, 20-something hours coming back. Probably slept about 8 hours. We had a Muslim ball. I mean, just being around the family. I mean, we didn't. I mean, did we go to sleep? And on the night that I had to drive back, I was kind of upset because all of them were still up to like 3 o'clock in the morning, laughing and joking. And I'm looking at bed. I kept coming up, getting up. It's like, don't you have to drive? I'm like, but you guys are still having fun. What I'm missing out on? So that night, I probably got about an hour and a half sleep to have a 21-hour drive back. But, you know, Allah blessed us there and back. And Brother Rahman Ali and his beautiful wife, you know, Nere, I almost call you man. I was like, ooh, don't do that. She's going to jump up here. Nere Ali and their beautiful family. They boys, I mean, all boys like we have, you know, showed us a great time in Florida, and we will be coming back. And you keep making us offers like that, we may not leave. You know. I mean, and the brother can cook too. He can cook. So we had a great time with them, and we're glad that Allah bless you to make it up here, you know. And all of you who came out, we're very thankful that you have come out to hear the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Like I say, we're not anything special or trying to be anything special, because the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the special.
That's right, sir.
No one else is special. It's just him. And if we try and strive to do his works, we will be successful. If we try and just let our brothers and sisters know that he only did what he did because he loved you. And God loved you.
That's right.
You know, I mean, no one in the history of the world can say that heaven chased them down but us. I mean, chased us down to try and get us to understand that stop waiting on the mystery God. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad say, see, a spook cannot judge the affairs of man because their natures are not alike. Only a man can judge the affairs of another man.
That's right.
So when you're being gunned down in the streets of Chicago, that's not a spook shooting you down. When you're being shot in St. Louis, when you're being shot in Florida, when you're being shot in New York, those are not spooks pulling the trigger.
No, sir.
Those are real life people. So you need a real life God to cure that situation. We don't go to war with them. We don't go to battle. God say, lay down arms. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to fight your war. But he also teaches us to fight like hell with those that fight with us. So we don't turn the other cheek.
That's right. That's right.
But we do say, please pick another battle, because if you pick a fight with Muhammad, you're going to lose.
That's right.
We are not aggressive. Not at all. We want to be humble, and we want our brothers to believe and teach. But we have to understand, too, when you look at the time that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was teaching us, you know, we had another brother out there trying to do a good thing. Martin Luther King was trying to get the people to come together. But you notice how the white man was spraying down his followers down with water hoses? And you know how they was letting dogs loose on the people that was marching with Martin Luther King?
Right.
You never see a Caucasian white man lift his hand at a sister in white.
That's right.
You never see a Caucasian white man put a hand on a Muslim that believed in the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
That's right.
And keep in mind, we were teaching at the same time.
Yes, sir.
You never seen it. It's a reason, because he felt like those that believe in his religion, they belong to him. But those that believe in this way of life did not.
That's right. Right.
And they knew they would have a serious price to pay. With that, we're going to dismiss.
Yes, sir.
And if there's anyone again here that would like to reclaim their own, just meaning that you're accepting God in your original belief before we set sail to the hells of North America, please see Brother Lieutenant or Sister Captain, and we'll go from there. So would you please rise with your feet at a 45-degree angle, hands outstretched in the form of a cup. Please follow in silence with the Muslim closing prayer. In the name of Almighty God, Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. All praise is due to Allah, the Beneficent, the most merciful Savior, in this day of judgment in which we now live. We're forever thankful for Allah coming to the hills of North America and raising up our beloved leader, teacher, and guide. O Allah, guide us among the right path, the path of those who thou hast bestowed thine favors, not the path of those whose wrath has been brought down, nor those who go astray after they have heard thy teachings. Say he, Allah, is one God. Allah is he whom nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He neither begets, nor is he begotten, and none is like him. And I bear witness none deserve to be served besides Allah, and I bear witness that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is thy true servant and last apostle. Amen.
Amen.
Keep in mind, we as believers of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad want for our brothers and sisters what we want for ourselves. With that, you're dismissed, but I want to make one correction. I kind of twisted the prayer up, so please forgive me for those that know. I was still teaching in my head, and I was, you're dismissed. Assalamu alaikum. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yep, good job, brother. Good job. Sitting here, doing the best. Yep, good job, brother. Good job.